Aries. The opportunity is hiding inside the choice you've been putting off. The evidence is small. What changes when a useful threshold to cross soon stops being just talk? This Moon-Mercury passage lights up the desire, creativity, pleasure field. Saying too much or too little changes the trajectory. It's a half-open door, a possible answer, an invitation not to delay again. Today's useful passage doesn't ask for faith. It asks you to take seriously a threshold to cross soon, before your mind talks it down. For Aries, the strength is in pausing before impulse chooses for you. What's at stake is whether you truly want the movement you keep talking about, or only the comfort of imagining it. If you wait for a more convenient signal, you may find the real one was already clear enough. Move. Confirm the small step that keeps the best possibility alive. Come back here before you convince yourself that waiting a little longer is the noblest form of caution. Taurus. The uncomfortable truth isn't here to wound you. It shows up because the alibi is worn out. Picture a closed room. Inside it, an inner room that already knows the truth meets your most automatic reflex. Moon and Mercury pull in different directions around home, roots, and emotional base. Today, tone matters as much as content. This is the scene where the problem is no longer the world around you, but the easy version of the story you keep telling yourself. The messy part doesn't get clean just because you explain it well. An inner room that already knows the truth wants a truer sentence. The real loss today would be leaving the outside polished while staying slightly dishonest inside. If you keep covering that spot, the day can look calm while it decides for you. Move. Name the point that stings, and build the boundary from there, not from the face you want to protect. Listen again before defending a version of you that costs too much. Gemini. This isn't surrender, it's choosing which part of you needs to stay intact. It's one of those days that can keep moving hard on the outside, but asks you not to treat your last bit of margin like it's endless. Don't widen the scene too much. One person, one sentence, one gesture, and a pressure that needs to come off becomes readable at last. The Moon-Mercury clash makes the field of words, exchanges, and nearby environment reactive. It only takes a little to see what needs to be said better. Repair only works if it becomes an act. A pressure that needs to come off requires real space, not a promise. For Gemini, the day improves when understanding turns into a visible decision. If you recover first, you choose better later. Today, the pause is part of the strategy. The risk is ending the day standing up, but with too little presence left to choose well. Move. Reduce one concrete demand before it becomes the center of your mood. Mark it down before you answer from the place where you're already over the limit. Cancer. For Cancer, control only works if it doesn't hide a simple fear. The scene splits into two thresholds. One protects comfort, the other protects what truly matters. Pluto brings intensity to the resources money value axis. Using it well means seeing the knot, not overpowering it out of pride. It's the kind of truth that makes no noise outside, but changes the weight of the room the moment you stop avoiding it. The shadow doesn't want to run the day. It wants to stop acting under the table, while a defense you can spot from far away stays unnamed. If you don't name the fear, it will find a way to right the day anyway. For Cancer, today asks for measured tenderness, not shapeless availability. If a defense you can spot from far away stays unnamed, tomorrow will speak louder and less elegantly. Move. Before you defend yourself, ask what you're actually protecting. Keep this close. The shadow loses force when it stops staying unnamed. Leo. Value slips away quietly. One exception, then a habit, then a debt. The line in the sand is simple. Don't let a small request that inflates the bill decide while you pretend to choose. Pluto brings depth to the identity-body presence axis. What you avoid tends to steer from underneath. This is the kind of moment when embarrassment wants to stay in the driver's seat, and the sky asks for clarity instead. If nobody names the bill, a small request that inflates the bill can become the usual advantage of whoever insists harder than you do. If the cost stays implied, the day often picks the cheapest price for everyone else, not for you. For Leo, today's value lies in not using strength to cover discomfort. If you leave the practical measure vague, someone will use that gap as leverage. Move. Write down the number, the time, and the limit. Confirm only what stays clean. Come back here before you treat your time like a coin with no price tag.
Virgo. The useful kind of care today isn't soft because it's weak. It's precise because it has to survive pressure. Don't change the story, change the focus. An equilibrium that needs to be brought back in line shows the point that deserves your presence. The tension between Moon and Mercury isn't just mental. It moves through rest, closure, and inner preparation, and asks for a truer sentence. This is the place where recovery stops looking like a luxury and becomes the base that keeps you from ruining the rest. Protecting energy today isn't disappearing. It's preventing an equilibrium that needs to be brought back in line from eating the right choice. For Virgo, the day improves when you stop using clarity as armor against action. What's at stake is not spending all your energy to hold up a shape that doesn't deserve it. If you keep forcing that rhythm, the price can show up as the wrong tone, a sharp reply, or exhaustion running everything. Move. Choose one concrete form of care, not a promise to recover later. Use it to remove one demand, not add another test. Libra. Today, the price isn't only financial, it's how much room you let other people have in the decision. The revelation here is quiet. Just watch how a promise that needs measure changes the way you stand in the room. Venus brings magnetism to the identity-body-presence axis, but the sky asks you to separate real desire from the need for reassurance. This is the moment when time and money speak the same language. Limit, measure, confirmation. Practical boundaries protect dignity here. Don't let a promise that needs measure depend only on politeness. For Libra, the risk is saving the atmosphere and losing the boundary you actually needed. What's at stake is not letting social or emotional discomfort set the price for you. The risk is buying peace with a resource you'll need whole tomorrow. Move. Ask for the missing detail before your yes becomes a tax. Save it before you pay for a piece nobody asked you to buy. Scorpio. You do not need to prove everything today. You need not to waste the part of you that's clear. The pressure point is right there. An emotional base looks manageable until you realize it's setting the pace. Pluto digs into the home root's emotional base area. What looked like control may turn out to be fear, wearing a polished coat. It's the place where recovery stops looking like a luxury and becomes the base that keeps you from ruining the rest. The tired part isn't sabotaging you. It's trying to keep the day from consuming you past the limit. If you recover first, you choose better later. Today, the pause is part of the strategy. For Scorpio, depth becomes useful when it stops speaking from behind control. If you keep denying space to the tired part, the day can work on the outside while emptying you on the inside. Move. Choose a real pause, not a symbolic one. Less exposure, less noise, more actual breath. Come back here before you sacrifice a pause that keeps you clear-headed. Sagittarius. There's a narrow opening for Sagittarius. If you wait too long, it turns into noise. First image. A passage that widens the horizon enters the scene without asking permission, and the rest of the day has to respond. Jupiter expands the vision, travel, study axis. Opportunity grows only if it doesn't become excess. If it becomes just another detail, a passage that widens the horizon loses force. If it enters the choice now, it takes direction. It's a threshold that doesn't make a spectacle. You recognize it because it asks for attention before it gives comfort. For Sagittarius, freedom today comes from giving the right thing a measure. What's at stake is not winning immediately. It's not letting a door pass by and then close again. If you leave that passage without a gesture, the opportunity stays an idea
and loses body. Move. Set a reply, a time, or a practical gesture before doubt widens the corridor. Save it if you know your real risk today is seeing the opening and not using it.
Capricorn. If you feel pressure around a domestic boundary, don't hand it a decision right away. Saturn activates home, roots, and emotional base. The choice can't stay automatic. The risk doesn't shout. It becomes friction while everyone pretends nothing is happening. It's home. A simple request. A yes given to keep the peace. A threshold nobody names. Capricorn, if nobody sees the weight, it's because you've been carrying it too well. Giving in by a centimeter can look loving. Giving in every time becomes an unwritten contract. The problem isn't the request, it's the boundary left unspoken. If you have to become smaller to keep the room calm, that's not peace, it's an emotional tax. The strong move is a boundary spoken quietly before it turns into a wall. Are you protecting home or buying quiet with a piece of yourself? Write down who does what. Wait. Confirm only what you can carry. Move. Say the boundary plainly before pride turns into a wall. Come back here when pride wants to take over. Aquarius. The sky doesn't reward people who wait for certainty today. It rewards the first real move. The clean part is this. Know where an operational knot to loosen ends and where your choice begins. With Mars active, the work method health area turns hot. Don't delay, but don't confuse force with ripping things apart. This is the moment you realize the problem doesn't need better analysis anymore. It needs a gesture that reduces it. The strength today is moving one real piece, not building another explanation around the same spot. What's at stake is getting out of the mental loop. If nothing moves, the block stays respectable. For Aquarius, seeing beyond things doesn't help if an operational knot to loosen doesn't become a concrete choice. The risk is making the block so respectable that it becomes a style instead of a problem. Move. Take the smallest piece that creates real movement and do it before it turns back into theory. Listen again when you're about to open yet another explanation instead of the first useful gesture. Pisces. If you keep treating a stuck choice like a detail, today you risk handing it the whole stage. The personal stake is closer than it looks. A choice that has stayed frozen is telling you what you've been allowing without naming it. With Mars in play, the field of desire, creativity, and pleasure wants action, not noise. One clean move beats a blow-up. It's the open page, the delayed reply, the point waiting only for an act. For Pisces, feeling everything is power only if the fixed point doesn't stay in the fog. The block keeps looking bigger as long as you talk to it from far away. The moment you touch the needed move, its authority shrinks. The risk is staying loyal to a tidy version of the problem while life asks for action. If you don't touch that stuck choice today, tomorrow may cost you more energy for the same decision. Move. Choose the gesture that cuts the noise and do it without opening 3 explanations. Come back here when fear asks for yet another theory.